We're live.
Hi, I'm Guy,
Hi, I'm Troy,
and this is Geek Tank.
your intro-less podcast size podcast. Because we were running late and we just fired it off like a
And
cannon.
that, like a loose cannon, which,
Mhm.
if anything describes us, it's definitely loose cannon.
Yeah, or loose.
Also true.
So, Alex will be here. Don't fear. He's
I
just running a
fear.
little late.
I fear Alex.
Well, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
So, what I missed last week? Did you guys talk about that rocket ship landing or
No,
exploding or whatever
we
that was?
opted to not have show at all
Oh, that's right. Or did I know
because
that?
everybody had someplace else to be.
Actually, I don't know if I even knew that or not.
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny because I was cramming, and I'm still cramming for homework. It's just that not as bad as I was last week. Last week was pretty brutal. I've been skipping a lot of streams because of that. And then last night I got onto a stream and I got a troll.
Oh,
and he became my first victim. It was very funny.
okay. I want to hear about it.
Well, so one of the things that I'm doing now is I'm studying the digital domain. So he started to troll, and I'm like, I need to warn you now for legal purposes that you are part of my research project. And he just kept trolling, and I kept going, okay, no, keep going. And this is just data. I'm just like totally. And then finally, Brent got sick of him and shut him down.
Yay. Good job, Brent.
I was like, yeah, that's fair.
What kind of stupid stuff was he saying?
Oh, he was just being classic insulty, He was
Oh,
calling me old and gramps and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. Don't know why you're trying to get under my skin, but okay. And then, talking about his penis a lot. And I'm like, well, we have issues,
mm-hmm.
But it didn't bother me. I was just, I don't know.
Well, it was an experience to analyze.
Yeah. And he ended up being data points.
Yeah.
And it's totally, it's all about, and I was sitting there going, so why are you so angry with the world? I'm not angry. I'm happy. Okay. So then why are you getting onto people's threads randomly and just being an ass? I mean, and he's like, he kept saying things like, I've got all the power here. And I'm like, you really don't.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm game. Why? And, it was like really funny. It was just like particularly funny. But I recorded the whole thing.
Cool. Hey, Alex.
Zanderman.
Cool. I was just asking to be caught up on last week, and guys said that it got canceled, which is cool. And then he said he was doing his own thing and got his first troll on his show. And
well, the first trolls since I have changed sort of format layouts and stuff. So now I'm anytime you're on my show, my other stream, you are consenting to be part of my research projects. So I alerted him right away as he was being a troll. I was like, okay, but I got to warn you that whatever you're saying will end up being part of my research project. And he just kept going and
hey,
going.
Bob.
It was very funny. And so he was just trying to be super insulting, and I'm not exactly sure why, but
Were you able to determine roughly what you would think
Dopamine.
the age range was?
no, but I would assume relatively young.
Yeah, but that might be an incorrect assumption.
Yeah, I mean, well, just verbiage and stuff like that. I'll go into a more in-depth analysis of what he did later on.
Okay.
So
yeah. When we're hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, like I was just saying that I'll go and I have to go back through his data and look through it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm back from Canada.
Yay!
Welcome back from Canada.
Brian, Canada's apologize for Brian Adams many times.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I was on the other side of Canada. I've been on the far east side of Canada in Montreal. So now I was on the far west side in Vancouver.
It's a very different place. I love Vancouver.
It's it took a few days for it to catch up to its name because it's referred to as Raincouver or Rain City. And the few days I was there originally, it was like, this isn't so bad. I know it's coming though. And then weekend hit, and it's just like 48 hours of rain.
I just can't. I can't. I am too much of a Coloradan. That is just not something I can do.
I liked the cloud cover. It was nice. It was and it's just something you have to deal with, and you adapt to it. It's like all the locals obviously had figured out how to deal with things.
Well, I'm sure.
There's little things that I was unexpected of. So I spent a week there getting my kiddo set up, since he's going to be living there for a year now. And so I was like getting him set up on food. Where he's 100% public transportation and footing it. So he has to learn all this stuff, because when I grew up in high school, I took public transportation. So I was educated at a younger age for, here's how the world works. Get out there and don't die.
Right.
So I'm having to teach him these skills a little bit later in life than I would have preferred to, but better now than never. But it's I don't know if they don't have cows in Vancouver, but in all the stores we went into, couldn't find ground beef anywhere.
Wow.
Because I was trying to teach him how to cook some staples. Like, once you learn how to brown beef, you can do tacos, you can do chili, you can do spaghetti, you do nachos with beef on top of them. It's like, but you got to have the beef. So, and if you're going to go there, definitely take your over-the-counter stuff from here, because it's not quite double the price, but it is like 1.5 more expensive to buy just over-the-counter things like ibuprofen.
Which is an interesting thing. That's always kind of, I'm wondering if that's intentional, if there's something that they're trying to do.
I don't know.
Because it's not, this isn't the first time I've heard, of that aspect of Canada.
But yeah, and it's he's like directly across the street from an Asian market that has tons of good stuff in it. And so I was showing him all the things. He has an app that he can hold up, because some of the packaging is 100% in like either Japanese or Chinese, depending on what the packaging is. So he holds it up so Google translates what he's looking at from either the kanji or the Chinese characters.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff is literal translation, so you can't. It's like it says yum yum good good. So I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
nice.
But yeah, so I was telling him, like, a lot of this stuff is really easy to make, and you've got YouTube. It's like these dumplings are already cooked; you just have to steam them and that, and so it's I think it's a really cool experience he's going to go through and that.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting on his nerves because I'm still a paranoid person, not nearly as much as I was when I was younger, and part of my brain is like, be prepared for everything that you can comfortably be prepared for. And so I was like, okay, you should have a flashlight in your room in case you need it. It's like, well, I've got my phone. I'm like, well, yeah, the phone has a flashlight on it, but if you can't recharge your phone, you're going to want another source. And so I'm thinking too many steps beyond of the point that he wants to think about, and it bothers him thinking beyond that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, it's just silly stuff.
Plus, a large mag like can double as a club.
Man, can it?
We're just saying. For all of us who
that's why
use that for things.
That's why you hold the flashlight part here and the big heavy part on your shoulder, because you're already in position to just go bonk.
Yep. Thumpy.
Yeah.
But I was showing him different hidey places. I'm like, yeah, you need to get copies of your key made. You can hide them here and all the stuff. Here's $20 and some coins and a little pill thing. Throw it in your backpack and forget about it. And if you ever need an emergency thing, you've got it right there. But yeah, he doesn't have the same kind of combat brain that you and I have, Alex, where the always think, okay, that rock looks like it'd be good for beating somebody with.
Mm-hmm.
Did we just live in a weird era? Because
we lived in the oh, what was his name? The little kid that got taken from the Walmart.
Oh yeah, Adam.
Yeah, him.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, yeah.
So we lived in that era where our parents were like, you're going to get kidnapped.
Like, I'm not. I would like to think that I'm not quite as freaky paranoid, but then I'm always doing the same thing. I'm always like, in a zombie apocalypse, what things around me can I use? But it's not necessarily zombie apocalypse either. I was last night, I went out to try to take a picture of the comet in the clouds. So I went to Majestic Park, which is relatively close here. It's because it's a big, nice, it's on the west side of the hill. And so it's got a nice open area towards
west side.
Yeah. So it's got a nice, but there was no one there but me. I was all by myself standing out there with my camera on tripod doing 30-second exposures. And I kept.
So where you hold your jacket open for 30 seconds?
Yep. And I kept my head in a swivel the entire time. I'm like in the middle of Nowheresville, suburbs of Denver. It's not.
Hey, it's in Colorado. A bobcat could attack you.
I know, right? Like I was more at risk, I'm sure, of wild animals getting me in that park than people. But I was constantly looking around as if I was about to be attacked at any time.
A dingo took our guy.
When you're one thing too to jump off that is that when you're talking to kids about preparedness, it sometimes is nice to have a little bit of remove of in case zombies attack.
Yep.
We have this getaway bag.
Right.
We can use this. We can use that. We do these things. We pack these things instead of.
Yeah, I use the zombie thing a lot. We were actually taking the opportunity to watch a bunch of zombie films while I was there. So there's one called Alive that I think is kind of cool, and it because he's living in a housing unit and it takes place in a housing unit. It was a lot of good comparisons there. But I embarrassed the crap out of him too, which I guess that's our job as a parent. Last night, it was last night actually, because of my last night there. We had separated briefly because he was running some stuff back to his room, and I was crossing over to the Asian market to grab us a couple bubble teas to bring back. On my way back, another student was like kind of trailing behind me, and since there's really obvious when you're going to the same place to that door, so I knew that she wasn't going anywhere else. So I held the door open for her because being polite.
You do that,
and she was like, "Thank you." I'm like, "Of course." And then she held the second door open for me, so I'm like, "Thank you." And she's like, "Of course." And then there's like a 2-minute walk to the elevator, and so that 2-minute walk, the silence and not communicating and making small talk was doing this weird thing in my brain of making me feel a little uncomfortable. And then we're in the elevator. I'm like, well, I've got to say something because it just seems, it just feels awkward just standing here in silence and walking that way after we already had a little exchange. So I'm like, cool. How long have you been here? Do you like it? And she's like, oh, I've been here for 2 months. How about yourself? I'm like, oh, I've only been here for a week and I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm just getting my son settled in. He's going to Vancouver Film School. And she's like, oh, I'm going to Vancouver Film School. I'm like, oh, you guys should like exchange information because you're in the same building. You guys could ride the same bus together and that. He's like, cool. What's his number? And I'm like, I don't have it memorized yet because he just got it. And I'm like, if you don't mind, as weird as it is, if you want to swing by his apartment later, I can have it ready for you. And I gave her the number. She's like, oh, that sounds great. So she went up there. I went back to the apartment. I'm like, hey, Nick, don't be mad at me, but I invited somebody over to exchange information. And he's just like flat out gave me the death stare and that. And I'm like, I didn't think this through a lot. It was all very fast. And I think I got excited because she went to the same school. And I'm like wanting to help him make friends.
Yeah.
And so I think I stepped over a boundary there.
Not a big one, though. The best part about this is that you're still dad. And dad still has a certain amount of, we're going to be cringy. It's just, you just have to accept it.
And I'm like, I know on the surface, it looks like I'm trying to set you up with a cute Asian girl, but that's not what I'm doing. It was another Vancouver Film School student in my brain who lives in the same building. And I wasn't seeing what he was seeing. So, but no, I'm not trying to do an arranged marriage. But in case,
I just recently found out goes further into the present era than I thought. So,
well, today, it's still happening today, right?
In Japan, yeah.
Well, Middle East too, I believe.
Well, no, but I was talking about in Japan. But
okay. Anyway, so it was a fun experience.
That is cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I think your kid's the first to fly the nest too of all of our group.
Well,
like disappear to another state sort of thing. And so
Well, I got
I
an
think-
earlier start on everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that like all the rest of us are kind of looking at each other going, we're next, you know,
Mhm.
and a little bit of a, uh-oh.
Well, isn't Lumen on that list of
Yeah.
possibly?
Although they haven't flown the nest yet. That's the thing. You know, Lumen's of the same age, but still here,
Mhm.
you know. Same with G, you know, who's also of the same age, but still here.
Mhm.
Yours is the first one to leave.
Well, but it's like Lexi and my other guys are roughly the same age, and they're in the same boat of like only I think only I don't know if Lexi's found her calling in life yet, but like
Oh yeah.
Taryn's like, I'm 100% going to make video games. That's just like he knows this.
Uh-huh.
And I'm hoping he's right because he'll be disappointed if he can't do that. And it's like you still got 4 years of high school to get through, and then you got to do the thing. Whereas my other kiddo has no idea what he wants to do.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah, I
kind of
mean,
like,
I think Lexi is definitely thinking that that's the deal, video games. But I also have been trying to say, look, I mean, I don't want to do the same thing my dad did to me necessarily. However, there's a lot of competition in that field. And so, you know, not wanting to go through the same thing I went through all of my life with, I'm going to be a famous comic book author. And then now at 50, finally, like, well, that didn't go through. So, you know, not wanting to go through that, but also not wanting to squelch,
mhm.
you know.
Well, taking a wild guess here, you've made more money, I'm guessing, from your graphic arts design work than you have comic book stuff. But the same skills are used. It's just less creativity.
Yeah.
On the one end. So I think as long as you show it's like, here's the skill you want to learn, also have in your back pocket some practical ways to use this if the way that you're targeting doesn't work out.
That's sort of what I've been doing is, you know, build up some practical skills that we can use. And then you can keep making video games until it hits. And then as long as you got your bills covered, it's not critical.
Yep.
You know,
Study design.
Yeah, that's really all it boils down to is as long as you got your bills covered, it's not critical.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm saying if you're into programming and coding, build up that coding database thing so you can get it going in your head. Then that way you can rely on coding and you'll hate coding random bits of you know, some app for some company, but it'll pay six figures and you can write whatever the heck you want at home.
Yeah, do a minor in internet security.
Yeah.
Since...
And there you go. And you've got your bases covered and it doesn't matter what you do, you know, as at home, it won't matter in the real world. As long as you got the mortgage paid, you're good, you know?
Yep. Your kiddo's still pretty young, but has there been any interest in any specific paths, career paths?
Not necessarily. She is really interested in pursuing theater.
That makes sense.
And actually, when it comes to like leaving the nest, we've already started discussions of basically it's really expensive and difficult to live in this town. So if you want to stay living with us, if we can still stand each other, then sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan B for Nick.
But if you get friends, you know, and you all want to make a go of it or something, then yeah, by all means, you know. But we'll always have something to fall back on here.
It's important to have that, I think. And it's yeah, I told Nick, it's like, you know, worst case scenario, you don't get what you're after, you move back here for a while you keep trying to get what you want, but that way you're not incurring a huge debt of living and dumping money into a place to stay that you're not getting anything out of other than temporary residence.
I have an interesting situation sort of brewing over here, because I think that my kiddo will probably stay here and I will leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know, but I'm a anthropologist. You know, there could reasonably be 2 years in Beijing in my future, and a year in Tokyo, and a year in Seoul. And you know what I mean? Like and the kid could just stay here, and there's no dad here to be messing with it.
Dadding.
24-hour parties.
Right. I'll just say, hey, do me a favor, keep my office sort of, you can have the rest of the house, just close the door to the office,
Clean up the fluids.
Yep. Make sure that I don't have to fear a black light, and we're all good. But I mean, and that's still with this house, even if you lock this office up, it'd still be a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom if you count the basement one. So you'd still have quite a bit of room. You could have roommates and all kinds of stuff,
Yep.
Still has 2 bathrooms and stuff like that without this room. So
that's a lot of responsibility training there to keep the house.
Yeah, there is. I mean, that's one of the things that we've been talking a lot about. But also, I've still got 4 years of school ahead of me. Before I'm even departable. You know what I mean? Like, I got to finish my thesis and stuff. So it's not like I'm gonna disappear right away.
Like Alex did.
I was gonna say, like, I just made Alex mad suddenly.
Poof. Yeah. Next scene, I see him come through on your camera and punch you in the head.
Right? He comes over here. Oh man.
Nah, allergies.
No, it's cool. It was just you kind of like, it was very abrupt movement, and I'm like, suddenly guy says the magic word that just makes Alex really mad.
The visual of you just leaving camera and then it's showing up at Guy's camera and punching him.
Awesome.
Would have been hilarious.
Would have been so cool.
Make it happen one of these days.
Right?
Yeah, your kiddo could start Greenwood 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. And that's my thought is, so it is interesting in
Did you die?
That thing.
Did
you
I just have a stroke?
I just totally stopped because I just got added to something, and I'm not like, why did I get added to something? I haven't opened my email for the whole weekend because it's just been busy. And so I opened it tonight to get the link and noticed that there was a message in my email for school. And I was like, okay, why do I have a message from school?
Well, we spent the last 26 minutes in fear because Brent wasn't here, but he's finally here, so we can get rid of
it. So now we can finally.
I fear no lack of or surfeit of Brent.
Oh, Brent, thank you for zorching the troll yesterday.
For bringing the band hammer.
Yeah. I think that I thought about it afterwards, and I was like, it's probably better to have you just randomly cut the line every so often, because I'll sit there and mess with him all night long. And so, there's nothing wrong with that. I actually was thinking that today while I was driving around with my windows all down. I'm like, oh, I love this time of year. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. You can drive around with all the windows down. I'm not a motorcycle person, but I do like that. I like the wind coming in the windows.
Hang your head out like a dog.
Yep.
Yeah, I do intend to recreate Kaneda's motorcycle.
Yep.
So, actual size, not the tiny version.
Nope, not the tiny version.
Yeah.
Oh,
gosh, what else is going on in the world?
Let's see. I mean, we got a few minutes until sponsors. We're going to do sponsors now. There's a couple things I wanted to bring up.
Well, I think since we only have a few minutes, why don't we do that so that way you don't get interrupted? We'll do sponsors as soon as I click this button right there.
Because I need to tell you that Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, The Massage Wizard, and your mom.
Your mom.
Cool. Oh. Yeah, just little bits of odds and ends here. I know I showed up a little bit late. The kiddo and I have started watching Parks and Rec.
Oh, yes.
Of course, we've been getting it from the library.
I'm sorry, I got to pause you for a moment. Next time we're together, remind me to play the recording I have of the actual mayor debate that Tara was part of, because one of her opponents went on this rant that was like straight out of Parks and Rec.
Oh my God. Hilarity.
I'm like, there's no way this woman is this dumb. And that was like because it was they were being asked questions because it's a debate, like a presidential debate. And so I had to quickly get my phone, and the next time she's asked a question, I recorded it, and it's just nuts. But yeah, Parks and Rec is hilarious.
So we started watching that. We're in early season 2, and we also what was I thinking? I played a game named Sufi, which was all right. It was it was all right. I sent it back, but I was like, I should probably like do the like play some other
Analysis.
games, just other stuff that's just it's just like it's a cool game. It's like you're avenging your dead father master kung fu game. Um I just I could have gotten really good at it, but the timing was getting a little bit weird for me on just doing all the combos and everything. I was like, not having a super fun time doing this. But then let me see here.
Oh, Sifu, right?
Sifu, yeah.
Okay.
And then there was also for those who like Cowboy Bebop, there is the Seatbelts, the band that does the music for Cowboy Bebop. They have a cover band running around named Bebop Bounty Big Band.
That's a nice name.
I was about to say that is the name.
They are playing at the Boulder Theater on Thursday, November 7th.
Damn.
And tickets seem to be between like 45 and 75.
Nice.
I am probably going to go.
Oh yeah. I hope they play Tank.
I'm sure they will.
I can't imagine them not, but
yeah. And then so there's that, and then let me see the Dominus collection. What's in the Dominus collection? So like I said, Order of Ecclesia. I still have that on the cartridge because I'm old, and my games are old. So which is the 3 that it has? Is it also the Sorrow games?
And while you're on that pause, Brent, yes, Mile High Con's next weekend.
Yep, working it.
And working it, but not in the same way.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's looks like it's one of the Sorrow games, but not the other. So that's going to be the one with the kid with the book. Which one is that one? Yeah. Oh yeah, Sisters of Mercy. I almost went to that one. I was just feeling too under the weather and too low energy because I'm exhausted. Yeah, Order of Ecclesia is great.
I hear that one in my soul.
So this is a ways away, but if you're going to get tickets, you probably want to get them sooner than later. June 24th, 2025. Weird Al is going to be at the Red Rocks Amphitheater in Morrison.
Oh, sweet. Is he? Yeah, I would love to see him there again. I saw him there for the Strings Attached tour.
Let's see.
It says a Haunted Castle Revisited. The very first Castlevania game. Actually, I hear that's really good. Like the rebalanced original Castlevania arcade game. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. But what else is about this game? Dawn of Sorrow. Oh, Portrait of Ruin. That's right. Yeah, that one was fairly forgettable. Yeah, I played through it once. And then, but that's cool. Yeah. The Sorrow games are good. Ecclesia is good. I still have a really soft spot for the side continuity games, the Lords of Shadow games. I thought that what they did with the story on those was really interesting. But cool. Yeah, right on. And then what else I was going to ask you guys? Oh, what do you guys think about the Ranma remake?
I am so enjoying it.
I'm only one episode in, but I liked it.
I think so. I think I hate to say this, but my only complaint is having watched the original Ranma recently.
Yes.
Like we are still plugging along, and now I'm Bakusai Tenketsing everybody again.
Yep.
I even Bakusai Tenketsu Alex. It was like I'd forgotten about us doing that.
Oh yeah.
That was a thing we used to do all the time.
I still have the first 2 fighting games on SNES.
Nice. But
Anyway.
the biggest complaint I have is having watched the original one, it's a little slow. Like there's a lot of gap between it and or between like different story arc pieces.
Mhm.
And I mean, we're now I guess about some 15 episodes into Netohen.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of sitting there going, I mean, okay, we've got Moose now,
Mhm.
and we've, gone through all of these pieces parts, but boy, we've gone a long way to get to Buckside Tinkets. And
Well, Buckside Tankets is season 2,
yeah,
so
that's
it's not
we're
that
into
far.
Netohen. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're into Netohen, but it's still I don't know. I feel like the thing is that it's going to be slower than I thought, and I'm a little disappointed that the new series is literally following 1-to-1. Like
Well,
we're on episode 3 of
mhm.
145, of which
Well,
probably
the
80 are significant.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And
I would like to counter with there's a lot of bullshit filler
yeah,
in Ranma, and
that's what I mean. Is like I feel like
so.
if you think that Ranma, it's 145 episodes
Mhm.
long between the original series and Netohen.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking that, gosh, that's a lot. And there is a lot of, we just wandered around to like ski on this mountain. And
Mhm.
we,
Well, I mean, I don't know what their thoughts are, guy, but I'm just do some countering here,
Hmm?
and that is they are, especially at the beginning, those are the episodes, those are the issues of the comic,
Yeah, no,
you
no
know.
question. No
So
question.
I mean, I would be happy if they just did like the entire comic run, scrape out the filler that they put into the TV show, and because from my understanding is that they had never actually even finished the original manga in TV. They had a bunch of other movies, OAVs, and some other stuff going on. I did some research on this recently.
Mhm.
Um,
I
and
think
so
you're
it's like,
right.
and I'm just like, just give me what the comics are. You know, I don't need a half a dozen episodes of Haposai stealing people's underwear because fuck that shit.
Right. Right.
So annoying.
And we're actually like sitting there going, gosh, I wonder what the heck's going to happen when we get to Hopposai. He's questionable. He was questionable in the 80s.
Well, I mean,
Eesh.
do we still need to have dirty old man trope?
Right.
You know,
I'm
and
just
like,
saying.
and honestly, like, I don't know. Like, I've always hated Haposai, and like because it's like I can get away with whatever I want because I just kick your ass. It's like, man, fuck you. It's like eat a
But
bag of shit.
anyway, and that really wasn't necessarily a counter because I'm actually
Yeah,
on board with what you just said. It
yeah.
did not actually counter what I said, which was I'm just feeling, I'm hoping that it doesn't. I think that's really what I was trying to say too, was I'm
Oh,
hoping
okay.
they don't go through the filler. 145 episodes, of which 80 are probably good.
Yeah, yeah. We're in season 6 now, and we
Yeah.
still haven't gotten to Shishi Hokudan, and
Uh,
it's like, what?
and the funniest part about all this is in my brain, all of those things are all crunched together. Like they all happened really quickly.
Yeah, same. Because we were watching what we could, but
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, got whatever we could whenever we could get
and
it.
when you start thinking about like power level stuff, okay, it's like, well, Ranma. So Ranma gets the Katsu Tenchi Yamaguchi Ken. So then shortly thereafter, to keep up, Ryoga gets the Buckside Tenketsu. A season and a half later, 2 seasons later, Ranma gets the Hiryu Shotenha. So it should be relatively quickly that Ryoga should learn the Shishi Hokudan.
Right.
And it doesn't. And then, of course, with the TV show the way that it is, Ranma hasn't learned the Hiryu Shotenha since those episodes that he learned it.
Right.
They've never brought
Never
it
use
back.
it again.
You know, they've never used it again. And it's like, it's just sort of like, and that's part of the comic too. It's like, come on. I don't remember. I don't have all the run of the manga, but I thought he used it more in there.
Mhm.
But it's sort of like they sort of forgot about it, and then let's just do this thing. And I understand they don't want to like lean on it too much. Like when you watch like the original run of Transformers, and then you have the movie that has the Matrix of Leadership, and it seemed like every other month they had a problem that the Matrix of Leadership had to solve. Get that. But
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot. The thing is that Ranma is absolutely one of my core animes.
Hmm.
And so this is back to kind of little nervous, you know.
Yeah.
They have not disappointed me.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
in there has disappointed me at all.
Cool.
I have been very entertained, and oh my goodness, the fighting is beautiful.
It's so much better.
It's
It's
so
so
much
much better.
better.
And here's one thing I love that I like, because of course it is, as you mentioned before, it is mostly original cast,
Yes.
and most of the original cast is sounding or trying to sound as much as close as they did, fucking 35 years ago.
Mhm.
The guy who voices Kuno Tatawaki is like, fuck that. And
Yep.
he's just going, I'm old and I'm deeper voice now. I'm just gonna samurai the shit out of this. And I'm like,
It's so beautiful.
here
It
for
really is.
here
The
for it.
other thing I'm noticing is they've modified the language. I'm
Yes.
hearing the slang maji, which is modern Japanese, even
Mhm.
more modern, I think, than when I was there. I don't remember my kids saying maji at the time, but they say maji all the time now. And that's really, but it's a slang word.
Yep.
And I'm hearing Akane Nibiki fire it back and forth. And I think it's funny since the very, very first thing that says in there is sometime in the 1980s.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, they're not speaking like 80s kids.
Right.
Well, that's because 80s kids aren't their only audience now.
No, it
Yeah.
isn't. But I'm just humored by that.
So back
Yeah.
when
And that isn't a complaint either.
back when NDK was in DTC, Laura from the improv group, Tara and myself did a group Ranma costume. So if
Mhm.
you happen to come across any photos of that, because I don't think I have any, but I did Tatiwaki Kuno, and
Mhm.
Tara did a female version of Ranma,
Mhm. I
and
remember that.
and Laura, that was her name,
Mhm.
Laura, not Lauren. That's a different person. Laura did Akane.
Akane.
Akane,
Yeah.
yeah.
Akane for the dub, which they still
No,
do that in the dub as Akane.
that
Nintendo
really
Akane.
bothered me. I was like, I gotta listen. So I ran it for about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it was like,
Yeah, we did. The kiddo and I did the same thing. It was like, did they change this? Like, they did not. Okay, we're going back to Japanese. They're like, and of course, it might even just be like a meme now, a little subtle. One thing I was wondering, I need to. I was actually been digging through some of my stuff and getting rid of stuff, and but some things I will not plan on getting rid of,
AV.
including Ranma,
Mhm.
my Ranma translated manga. So so I'm gonna dig those out and look at them a little bit. I'm rereading Preacher right now as an aside. Because I
That's
want
a
to.
exposition.
Yeah, yeah. But it's I want to look at like how many, like what happens in volume 1 to 2 3 4, especially with like I don't know if it's a 1-to-1 ratio on comic to episode. Because golly, if they do the entire run of Ranma, that's 407 chapters.
Yeah, it is.
I just
And
looked it up.
if it's each chapter, it's gonna take forever.
It's gonna take forever.
You think at
So
some point they'd be like, we want to do new stuff with these characters. So-
yeah,
So we'll see what they think. I mean,
yeah.
a big part of it is how long is Netflix going to keep funding it?
It's not only Netflix. It's a different
Oh,
company that's
Yeah,
doing
it's
it, and
actually
Netflix
airing
is
in
doing it.
Japan,
Yeah.
okay. So Netflix has just bought into it.
Hmm.
So
which is fine by me.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, and then but yeah, rereading Preacher, that's a dense book. I forgot like those volumes are each like 220 pages, and there's a lot of text, a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, no, I'm glad you guys like the Ranma. Very cool.
Mhm. Yeah, that was my first series that I watched on video, not counting, of course, the Americanized version, Gatchaman, which was Battle of the Planets.
Mhm.
Right.
So, but yeah, once I discovered Ranma at the video store, I just had to rent them all and watch them.
Yeah.
They
I'm
didn't have
actually
to.
going to take a quick aside here and ask AV, who's coming in on YouTube,
Mhm.
who had noted that it's big in Japan. And I was just going to say, is that something that you have news on, or is that just you are aware that Ranma is big in Japan? Because that's something I'm curious about. Is it hitting in Japan? I mean, I'll be able to see. I'll be there in a month, and so I'll start.
Oh. Hmm.
I don't know what that is.
So.
Is that something stupid?
Anyway, I'll be there in a month.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm hoping to get some more Ranma merch. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
See some more cosplay.
I was just wondering. Cool. Thanks. Yes.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate that insight there, AV. Thank you. AV is saying that they're in Japan and it's big. I'm like I said, I'll be heading over there, and you can guarantee I'm coming back with as much shampoo stuff as I can get my hands on.
Because your hair is really messy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you find anything that's awesome in Kodachi,
I will.
And or Ryoga. My man.
Or for that matter, Kuno. I mean, honestly.
Kuno's. Yeah, I love Kuno.
The fun part about this particular trip is my omiyage coming back is not going to be very hard because all of us are Ranma fans, and I think I can pretty much peg everybody in our group as to which Ranma character is their favorite. And so all I need to do is just hunt down omiyage that fits all of you guys, and it'll be awesome.
Lauren's favorite character is Shampoo, I believe. I'm not sure about the kiddos though.
Well, that's going to be a fight then.
Just get two.
That's right.
Right, I'll get two of everything that I get for
shampoo. And then you're staying, I assume, with our mutual friend over there.
Yep.
He has a Pokemon version of Splendor for me. So if you have room in your bag to bring that back,
I should be able to.
You said that.
I intend to take an extra luggage bag because I can take two. So I intend to take an extra and just leave it, like not inflatable, but like the duffel, and then pack it up.
Yeah.
And so I'll have space for stuff coming back. I don't know how much space, but I intend to get, there is, and also since it is James, it's one of those things that I can do is just say, hey, put all this in a box, ship it to me. Oh yeah, Akihabara is definitely on my my to go list. Akihabara. Yep. And so definitely the station and the entire run, that street right there, the main drag there is the best for all kinds of stuff.
Right.
So yeah, AV is recommending good garments and books and stuff like that at Akihabara.
Did IndieK rename that sector in the hotel or is that like future plans?
I don't know.
Because I thought they were going to name like the video game section.
Chuodori, that's right, the middle street. not very creative, but you're right. Yeah, Chuodori. Yeah, right through the middle. Thank you.
Yeah. I explored it thoroughly through the medium of video games, and the world ends with you.
Yes. So yeah. Anyway, that's
cool.
But there's also, there's all kinds of weird stuff that I've been gunning for. I'm hoping that model train store is still there. There was a model train store that was like 6 stories, and I'm like. And I had gotten all of the cars of the Yamanote, but I never got an engine. And so I'm like, I need the engine. And so I'm like, I got to go back and get an engine this is like one of my weird, it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Our English really isn't that good either. And we don't have an excuse.
Speaking of English, Neil Stevenson just put out a new book.
Oh yeah, Yodobashi.
I haven't started reading it yet.
Sorry, I'm having a discussion with AV over here because
All
AV's
right.
got like all kinds of stuff going on.
Take it to DMs.
I'm
So
looking
sarà
forward to getting back to
niente.
Dungeons and Dragons. Speaking of DMs,
Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
we're doomed. I can already tell. Game starts. Oh, do we have game this weekend?
no, not till
Oh,
after
because it's the con.
October.
no, how come?
Yep, Neil Stevenson is out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I haven't started reading it, but I got it from the library. And then, yeah, he's cool.
Which works.
But yeah. The video that Troy posted onto my Discord, loved it.
I
It's
thought
more
you would.
Magnificent Mansion levels, but yeah, that is.
Yeah.
We still have been having a group together, and she should probably go
What's
get that.
What's fun is when they do stuff like that, I get to tell Nick, I'm like, yeah, that's the spell in it, and it's their variation of the spell. But what's fun about this is my player named their thing the Chateau.
Yep.
So the song is so appropriate.
So appropriate. And then no, it'd actually be really fun because I don't know if it'll be working in, especially if she does the Magnificent Mansion. I don't know if it'd be doing it in our game, but I can definitely see, should she survive, that in the future be like, oh yeah, she still has that thing, but it's just been her for a while, or she's been doing the thing and living in the world. Like, you know what? Getting another adventuring party together, this would be really helpful, but I don't know if they're high enough level to clear out whatever's moved in while I haven't been in there. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, congrats on completing the 3.5-year D&D game there, Bob.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
Good
no
job,
kidding.
Bob. So did it end as well?
Hang on real quick. AV 名前はスーパーポテトでしょうか? I mean, like, is it actually super potato in Japanese? Because if so, I will make a point of going to super potato. Probably better than my battle plan to go to Tokyo Hands.
In my one semester of Japanese with Tara, we always thought it was funny how certain words are just like hotadagu. It's hot dog.
Ooh, almost
that
TPK.
Tiamat's gonna Tiamat.
Yeah.
Tiamat's gonna Tiamat.
Apparently Tiamat was under the weather that day.
Nice.
So, yep. So,
Those like there's but was everybody mostly satisfied? Was there like thrills and chills and twists and turns, or
to make it the level
yeah,
20.
I mean, how did it end? Did it end well? Obviously nobody got TPK'd, so super potato. Okay.
That'll be easy for you to remember.
Yeah, I'll remember that. Thanks, AV. Oh yeah. Look at that.
Oof.
I got it.
Yeah, my guess is they got to level 20 and then had to fight Tiamat.
as you do.
Yeah.
Onajiku. Arigato.
They're there. It's like a mountain.
It's final boss.
Yeah,
man.
stuff in game, D&D.
Yeah,
Love it.
I was gonna start a shared Google Doc and get it out there and try to start doing a collective recap of the whole game and have people input what they remember of each of the chapters and stuff.
Cool.
And I wanted to do a character audit on everybody, mainly just to get myself more caught up on anything I might have forgotten about everybody's character. Not so much to, aha, you did your math wrong.
No.
Right.
I actually did my math wrong, so
Okay.
I am
Well,
all
that's-
about this.
It's not nobody's in trouble. I just need to do that.
Cool. Yeah, and I have the new player's handbook, and I was interested in doing some stuff there. But yeah, cool. Avatar of the Silver Flame, good old Eberron.
Whew.
I am typing in super potato.
It's
All
like $15, and I don't know if it's any good or not, but I was going to pick one up. So nobody else has to. You can just read it when you come to my place. But Time Magazine, I think, did like a whole history of D&D or something.
Oh, cool.
And so I was it's like a special edition
Mm.
So I was going to pick it up and
Yeah.
leave it on the table for folks to
It
read.
became the plaything of Mab. I like man better. You
Man
are the
Mab.
plaything of
Madman.
man.
But cool. And then that's cool. But yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Alrighty, guys.
Cool.
We're wrapping up our
There's something else. Oh yeah, there's I know this is past the theater in Arvada. They do Tuesday classic movies. Tomorrow night is Rocky Horror. For those who like that.
Really? That's interesting.
I'm probably gonna wait till maybe watch it at con. Should be a messier, louder crowd, but you never know. Because I haven't watched Rocky Horror since I first watched it as a teenager, and I kind of hated it. And I think
Really?
yes. And so I think I will still not enjoy it very much. I don't think I'll hate it. What I've heard is that Rocky Horror the film is a 2-hour film based on a 1-hour play.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I think maybe I should try to find like an actual live production of it sometime.
interesting.
But then last week
itself is probably not as entertaining.
Yeah.
I feel like.
What happened last week?
Last week, Tuesday Classic movie was Blade.
Oh yeah, you were telling us about that.
I totally watched Blade in the theater for the first time since 1998, and it was awesome.
Nice. So Rocky Horror Picture Show. When I was in my senior year of high school in the theater class, there were lots of people who really liked it, and I had not seen it, but I knew my brother helped with the makeup and was part of the stage cast for the Louisville Vogue production of it. And so I got a copy on VHS tape and watched it, and I'm like, this is okay. It's so. I'm not quite sure what everybody sees in it. It had and this is my brain. It had an interesting moral, which is those who were all decadent all died and suffered, and those who were innocent are the only ones who lived. So I thought that was the moral of the story. And then about a year later, I got to go with a group to see it, and everyone in there is doing all of the call outs and such. And I'm like, this group has a totally different opinion of what this is preaching than what I got from it from watching it.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those that I think it's not the movie that people love. It's the hanging out and doing all the crazy stuff with it.
It is.
Yeah. I saw it at maybe one of the the first con I went to, first fan convention I went to was like a science fiction fantasy geek con in Colorado Springs when I was in high school. And I watched it then. I was like, nah. Like I said, didn't like it. But no, but yeah, it's I'll like I said, I think they do a thing at Mile High Con with Rocky, so see if I can get away from my duties for a couple hours and hang out.
Nice.
I think that'd be fine. I have seen, of course, I've been to Rocky a couple of times. I was in high school. I was in a group that did Rocky regularly, and so I didn't do Rocky myself, but I went all the time because my girlfriend at the time was playing Magenta, and one of my buddies, whom I'm still hanging out with today, was in it as well, and so playing Columbia. So I went regularly, and honestly, it's not something I particularly care to do again. It was a fun part of my life, and I consider it. But it is definitely better to go and experience than to just watch it. Mm-hmm. Unless you've been, at which time after you've been a couple of times, it's fun to watch it because you remember the memories of being there in the theater.
Right.
But in a vacuum, I feel like that wouldn't go over as well,
Since we have 2 minutes left, my other Rocky Horror Picture Show story. The night that I went and saw it with a group of people, I briefly ran into a friend of mine who was with a girl that wasn't his girlfriend. I didn't think anything about it. And it's like, cool, you here to see the movie? He's like, no, we're going to go do some other stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. Totally erased from memory. Went and did the thing. Next day, run into his girlfriend on campus because this was first year of college. I'm like, hey, how's your boyfriend doing? And she's like, he hung out with you all last night, don't you know? And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
we need to talk. So don't have me as your friend and use me as an alibi, especially without warning me first. But also, when you tell me you want to use me as an alibi and you're doing crap like that, I'm going to tell you no. You're being an ass. You need to make a choice. Stop cheating on your girlfriend. But yeah,
Oh my goodness.
so that
Wow.
was rather,
Classic.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
So-
serious.
Don't use the paladin as an excuse. I'm actually a dual class paladin rogue, and those don't mix together very well.
Pogue.
Pogue.
Raladin.
I think Pogue works better.
You're a pogue.
Yeah,
This reminds me of that band.
yeah, the Pogues.
I am, however, looking forward to. I actually really am looking forward to you doing a character audit on Ivy.
Okay.
I think it's long past due, and I feel like I have just been flinging numbers around and hoping for the best. So I'm actually all about the idea. In fact, if Alex wants to go over Ivy 2, I'm okay with that.
I'm not gonna assign extra work to Alex that he doesn't want. So
No, but I'm just saying Alex is welcome if Alex wishes. So because you were saying, I don't think anybody thinks, and I'm like, no, please, quite the opposite. I would love to have you go over the character and make sure the character is set up right.
all right. So next Monday, October 28th, I will be, I think, a couple of hours ahead in the time zone, which I don't know if that means I'll be available or not. I'm gonna guess not, unless if I can find somewhere away from other people to do the broadcast. So probably will be just the two of you, unless if I can sneak away.
Right.
Just give you a heads up on that.
Guy, fight.
But
Yeah.
if I can sneak away, I'll sneak away, and I'll broadcast from New Orleans.
Ooh.
Ooh, have a beignet for me. Oh, beignets.
Oh yeah,
God,
yeah.
those things are just. Oh,
They won't make the trip back, so I can't bring you
no.
any.
So you'll just have to enjoy it for me. There's nothing we can do about it.
Uh-huh.
'Cause it's
Okay.
like-
All right. Before this gets into Rule 34 beignet territory.
I mean, I hate to say this, but beignets. Yeah, already Rule 34 right there. Just saying.
Nobody said I had a cream filling, so
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not with
not
that.
yet. All right,
All right. And now that we have ruined this,
it's been very fun.
thanks for joining us today. I'm glad that we did get all of we got through this without horrible things.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Until next week, I've been Guy,
I've been Troy.
And I've been Alex.
and this is Geek Tank.